Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. I am JD, aka He Who Pods. Glasses on, so also rear view mirror.
I'm Dashiki, Dashiki.
Alrighty. All right, folks. It's Monday, and it's a weeknight, so we're gonna get started. Let's start with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The inductees have been announced, and it's not a lot, so I'll just read through all of them, and we can discuss who we want to discuss. So you got Bad Company, Chubby Checker, Joe Cocker, Cyndi Lauper, Outkast, Soundgarden, The White Stripes, Salt and Pepper, Warren Zevon, Tom Bell, Nicky Hopkins, Carol Kay, and Lenny Waronker. I have no idea how to pronounce this dude's name. Yeah, so those are this year's Hall of Fame in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. Yeah. So congratulations to all of them. I'll be honest, I don't know like half of this list. I know Chubby Checker because of Do the Twist.
Yes, same.
I remember my aunt used to like to do that. She would grab me and she'd be like, "Let's do the twist."
Nice. We had this. We had this CD. It was called, I think, Dance Party Favorites. So
Okay.
it had all of them. It had the twist. I remember because the twist was actually the first song on the compilation. But it had the twist. It had the electric slide. It had YMCA.
Oh, they had all the bangers.
Anything that you could that had some sort of call and response. It was on that Dance Party Favorites album.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know Do the Twist from there. And then I guess keeping it familial, my dad really likes Cyndi Lauper. He
Really?
used to listen to her music. Yeah, my dad used to listen to her music, and we always used to make fun of it and him. And then I remember years ago when Nicki Minaj sampled Cyndi Lauper, I was like, "Oh, I got to show my dad." And yeah, so my dad is a Cyndi Lauper fan, so I know Cyndi Lauper. And then come on, Outkast. How can I not? Those are our guys.
Yeah.
Um, so that's cool. And I really like I mean they have different categories. So these most of the people there are from the performer category. Salt and Pepper are part of the musical influence award. And I think that is really cool because Salt and Pepper, some may argue not, but Salt and Pepper have a heavy influence on not only hip hop, but quote unquote girl rap, as you like to call it. Um, there's songs that they did back then that were groundbreaking and were not the norm, and today are the norm. And so I know a lot of people credit Foxy and Little Kim, but I don't think we give enough credit to Salt and Pepper for their influence. And so the fact that they got noted for influence, I think, really means a lot here.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're so important to hip hop culture and to female hip hop culture. So definitely. I recognize a couple more of those names, but I don't remember the music. So I know the name Soundgarden. I know the White Stripes. The White Stripes had a really popular song, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it was. But
Oh yeah, let me look it up.
I feel like if we know what the song is, then we'll probably be like, oh, duh.
Their most popular song on Spotify is called Seven Nation Army.
I don't know what that is.
The next one is Fell in Love with a Girl. And the third one is We're Going to Be Friends. I don't know any of these songs.
I don't know. I don't know any of those songs. But why? Why do I feel like I don't know? And maybe I do know one of those songs, but I don't know them by name or artists apparently, which is fine. Um, I think this is cool. I think Outkast being a part of this is great. Well deserved. Um,
Absolutely.
it's definitely exciting to see their name there. It's exciting to see Salt and Pepper's name there. Um, because these are people who we talk all the time. Whenever the Hall of Fame comes up, well, there's been a lot of Hall of Fames lately, but whenever
Yes.
the when we're talking about the Hall of Fame, we're talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Whenever it comes up, certain names pop up on the list, and we're like, that person hasn't been inducted yet, or that person hasn't been considered
Right.
yet. So I think it's super cool that they made this pass this year. So good for them.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just looking here at Thom Bell's um, bio. They have a bio for each uh, inductee,
Uh,
and I guess we know his work, but not necessarily him specifically,
okay.
because his bio says with a career that spanned more than 6 decades,
Mm-hmm.
producer slash arranger slash songwriter slash musician,
Mm-hmm.
Thom Bell was, along with Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff, one of the mighty three figures in the creation of the Philadelphia sound, a brand of soul music typified by lush arrangements and sophisticated funk. It says a prolific creator, Bell's work crafting hit after hit for artists like the Delphonics, the Stylistics, the Spinners, and many more laid the groundwork for the disco of the 1970s and R&B of the 1980s. There's a few paragraphs here, but towards the end is where we know quite a few people. Um,
I mean, just you saying the Delphonics and the Stylistics alone, I'm like, oh, okay. Then we know,
right.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, the last paragraph. There's four paragraphs. I won't read everything.
Mm-hmm.
It says he did arrangement for the OJ's, um, me and Mrs. Jones,
Okay.
one of your joints.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he produced for artists ranging from Dionne Warwick to Elton John to James Ingram. And then the
Mm-hmm.
last paragraph says Tom was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2006 and the Musicians Hall of Fame in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Bell said, quote, invariably when other producers and musicians would say that my sounds were odd for R&B, I would just tell them I don't do R&B, I do music. Bell passed away in 2022 and his influence can be heard in an array of soulful artists including David Bowie, Carole King, Hall and Oates, George Michael, Jill Scott, and Jasmine Sullivan.
Okay, so he's huge.
Yeah,
He's huge. And I'm sorry I didn't know that name. And I'm also sorry that he's not alive to receive his award.
yeah, yeah.
Because that's an amazing legacy to leave behind.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he seemed like he is sprinkled all throughout the music we love. So it's always interesting to me when I hear those type of names because there are so many people like this in music where you hear about a person and you're like, I don't know who this person is, and then you go through their work and you're like, oh, I actually know tons of stuff from this person. So I always think it's interesting when we hear that because today some of these people from behind the scenes are highlighted. Like we talk all the time about how the Dream and Neo write for Beyonce a lot. And today that's something that we know for a fact and that's highlighted, right? Like people are always saying like, man, the Dream is such an exceptional writer. Sean Kingston is such an exceptional writer. We know these names, we know these people, but back in the days, those people didn't get the same amount of love and shine. It was kind of just like, oh yeah. I mean, even when we saw the Luther Vandross doc, we
Yeah.
spoke about up here how Luther did all this stuff that we didn't even know. Like
Yeah.
he was involved in so much stuff behind the scenes, arranging and writing and producing. We
Mhm.
had no clue. We didn't know any of that. And so I think it's good that these people are highlighted today. And yeah, it's messed up that he wasn't around to get his flowers. But I do appreciate that he's still getting light shown on him.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing. Good for him.
So shout out to him and all the other inductees. So let's keep it on music. Um, our boy Breezy announced Breezy Bowl, and everybody was really excited about that.
Hmm.
And they did a second announcement, announcing, "Hey, y'all are killing it. Dates are selling out. We got new dates coming. We're adding more dates to the tour."
Yeah.
And that was cool. And and he said the tickets would be on sale soon. He put the date up there. I don't remember the date. But what's interesting is, and Revolt uh, highlighted, is that Victoria Monet, they say she shot her shot.
Hmm.
She jumped in the comments of the announcement video and said, "Let me open up one of them shows, man." She didn't say man. I added man. She said, "Let me open one," and put crying emojis and sparkling star type emojis. Um, Honestly, her in the lineup. Oh, okay. Revolt says they think he should do it. It would be a vibe. Um, I think this is smart. I don't know if they know each other. I don't know if they have a friendship where she felt comfortable. I don't know shit. But what I do know is this is brave and smart. And I'm curious to see if he will allow her to do so.
Yeah. So people are definitely behind it. So I get what you're saying about it being smart. She's on everybody's radar right now because of it. So it's definitely a smart move. I also think that there's some alignment between the two acts. Um,
Hmm.
he's a singing and dancing ass dude, and she's a singing and dancing ass girl, and I just think it would make sense. Um,
Yeah, and don't he have two other people who are kind of like that? Isn't Bryson Tiller and somebody else on the tour?
I think so. Definitely
Summer
Bryson Tiller
Walker.
and Summer Walker. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know what a Bryson Tiller performance looks like. To be honest, I just don't know.
Mhm.
I'm not. That's not a knock. Summer Walker. I know that she's had some challenges in the
Ah,
past.
it's it's not only Summer Walker. Sorry to cut you off. It's Chris Brown, Janae Aiko, Bryson Tiller, and in some places and in other places it's not Janae. Instead, it's Summer. So
Okay.
they're kind of splitting up the dates. It says,
Yeah.
and that's from his post on April 4th about the new dates being added.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, first of all, it's not. Well, it's not impossible for what I was gonna say before. Sorry, is that I know Summer Walker has had some challenges with performing. Um, So it probably makes sense for her to not be the sole other performer. Although I believe she recently said that she feels like she's overcome a lot over the years. So
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. I've never seen Summer Walker perform live. I've never seen Bryson Tiller perform live. So I don't know. But what I can say is from what we've seen with Victoria Monet, she's very high energy when she's on stage. She's a great performer.
Yeah,
So and I could totally see the Chris Brown audience appreciating Victoria Monet opening for him. So,
absolutely.
not that they have to be the same type of, they don't have to have the same type of shtick. But I do think when there's alignment there, people are more inclined to say, oh, let me go early so I can catch the beginning of the show. Or, I
Right.
have been to Chris Brown concerts where I have not gone at the very beginning to see the opening act. Um, and also been to ones where I've been like, yeah, I got to make sure I get there so I can see her or whoever. Um, so yeah, um, people have been asking me, I don't know if this matters to anyone here, but people have been asking me if I would be going to Breezy Bowls. I will not.
Oh, you're not going?
I've been to multiple Chris Brown concerts. I'm okay.
Got you.
I've seen them. It's a great show. If you want to see a good show, great dancing and high energy, catch him before he gets tired though, because I have been to a Chris Brown show where I felt like he just was fed up. I also feel like the audience at that show wasn't great. Like they weren't high energy, and I think sometimes that affects the performance for certain artists. Maybe it shouldn't, but it does.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's gonna allow her to join it, but I agree that she would fit in line with that type of thing. Her, Bryson Tiller. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. And yeah, everything we've seen from Victoria Monet, I almost said Janae Aiko. Everything we've seen from her performances have been great. She's been, like you said, high energy. She's singing, she's dancing, she's all over the place. I think that will fall in line with his audience. But even if he doesn't, I still think this is a smart move,
Oh yeah.
uh, and a cool way to kind of X out the middleman.
Yeah.
Um,
And it puts her on his radar if that's what she's looking for. You know, maybe there's music to be done in the future together or what have you. I also think it's brave. I don't know if we were going here, but I think it's brave to publicly say you want to perform with on Chris Brown's billing, because we've seen in the past that some women who align themselves with Chris Brown get a lot
they
of
can-
backlash
yeah,
for doing so, even
yeah,
when they're
I agree.
not like, and it's never even like, hey, I want to do business with you, or I want to do a song with you. Sometimes it's as simple as, oh, Chris Brown should have performed at this thing. There was that Kelly Rowland incident that had happened where they raked her over the coals for being supportive of Chris Brown when he was removed from performing at one of the award shows because of his history. So I think it's kind of brave for her to do this
Yeah,
for a number of reasons, but also the fact that Chris Brown has been a controversial figure, and for someone who is considered a new artist or a newer artist, um, that's a risk in itself.
no, that's a great point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's true. We have definitely seen women get a lot of blowback for supporting Chris Brown in various ways. So that was a great point. I didn't even think about that.
Thanks.
So she's brave in multiple ways.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
All right. Well, let's see what ends up happening. I guess if there's an update, we'll report back. But in the meantime, we're gonna move on. Um, so here's a post from BET. BET says Michael Ealy is stepping into the shoes of one of the most iconic figures in American history. The Reasonable Doubt star. He's been in so much stuff. To call him the Reasonable Doubt star is kind of funny.
Well, that's his most
Uh,
recent role.
oh, okay. The Reasonable Doubt star has officially joined the cast of Prime Video's upcoming limited series, The Greatest, landing the pivotal role of minister and human rights activist Malcolm X. The project, from executive producer Michael B. Jordan and showrunner Ben Watkins, is set to explore Muhammad Ali's life and legacy, not just as the world's heavyweight champion, but also as a man, husband, father, brother, and son. Leon Ali, Lonnie, Lonnie Ali, the late boxing legend's widow, also serves as an executive producer, ensuring the story stays close to home.
Okay,
So, yeah.
I like
So
that.
they'll be playing Malcolm X in there.
Yeah.
Um, it says the series will chronicle key moments from Ali's career and personal chapters of his life.
Okay. I like this. I'm really interested in seeing a series about Muhammad Ali. I think that could be really interesting. As far as Michael Ealy goes, I mean, I could see it. I could see him with the red hair and the
The glasses.
glasses, and I could see him as Malcolm X. I'm always concerned when people play Malcolm X
Okay, why is that?
because one of my top five movies is Malcolm X, the Spike Lee joint
Right,
with Denzel. I
right.
don't know. I'm just biased. And I love Michael Ealy. I'm well documented as loving Michael Ealy almost as much as I love Morris Chestnut.
That's a
And
lot of love.
that's a lot of love, you know? Um, but yeah, so he's super talented. I'm never worried when somebody says, oh, he's playing a role, but also, this is Malcolm X.
Right,
And the Denzel has played Malcolm X.
right.
And as much as, I like to say that I don't think we should compare everything, everyone, I don't think it's necessary. I will compare because I watch Malcolm X at least once a year. Like, I am very acquainted with that film.
Hmm.
And I honestly don't know what the capacity of his role will be, right?
Right,
Maybe it's not even big enough for me to be like, oh, what's he going to be doing over there?
right.
But I still have high expectations.
And that's understandable.
Yeah.
Malcolm X was a behemoth in his own right. He was a legend in more than one way and an influence in a lot of people's life, including Muhammad Ali's. So to feature him in this series makes perfect sense, especially when they're talking about career and personal challenges. Um, but yeah, we don't know how much he's going to be in it. I guess the only way is to wait and see.
Yeah. This is something I'll definitely check out.
Yeah, same. Um, and I like that it's not just about boxing, right? I think we get a lot of things about our legends that are specific to their job, right?
Hmm.
We get a doc about a rapper or a singer or an actor
Hmm.
or a boxer, and it's mostly about their job. They'll sprinkle in a little bit of the other stuff, but it's mostly about their career or a specific moment in their career. So I like that this is going to show a broader scope of the person who Muhammad Ali was.
I agree. I always say that my favorite thing about biographical works is their lives outside of the thing we know them for. I think that's usually more interesting than the thing we actually know them for. Not to say that, especially someone like Malcolm X is not so interesting in the things that we do know, right? But or Muhammad Ali is that he's not. It's not that he's not interesting for being the athlete that he was, but we know a lot of those things. It's great to immerse yourself in their lives outside of that.
Right.
I'm sorry, I said Malcolm X first, but I meant Muhammad Ali. I know it's his series.
Yeah, it's all good.
Um, but yeah, I love that. I'm like, okay, so what did they used to do in their spare time, and who were they doing it with, and like what were
Right,
their interests outside of, like, what's your interest outside of sports?
right.
What is your interest outside of activism, outside of singing, outside of whatever the thing is? I always want to know more. I think I just have a curious spirit, so I'm always like, what else can you tell me about Most Def or whoever it is? I'm just throwing
Right.
out names, but yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We're also just more than our jobs, right? Even if you're great at your job, like maybe we know Dashing D was a great podcaster, but there's a lot more to Dashing D than just podcasting. That's not the only thing she did in life. And so I think that when we only speak about the career or the thing the person is known for, quote unquote, we minimize them as a human.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. So definitely excited about this.
Yeah, same. Well, all right, ladies, short and sweet on a Monday.
Mhm.
That's it for us. So this has been Weeknights. Thank you for being here, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.